Welcome to Tea for Me, Please. Today I'm interviewing Chris from Teaity. Chris, for starters, how did you get interested in tea?
It really started when I was a little kid. Of all things, my mom would end up buying primarily like celestial seasoning stuff, and I had an affinity for the raspberry zinger, and I really liked that particular one. It was kind of fruity and interesting. But I didn't really get into tea until my mid-20s. A coworker of mine took me to a tea shop downtown here in Cincinnati and introduced me to loose leaf tea. It was a Harney and Sons Genmai Cha at the local tea shop, and I just fell in love. Within a few months, I had a couple dozen different loose leaf teas that I had at home and then at work on my desk. And pretty soon after that, I started blogging, and it just kind of went crazy from there.
Awesome. I think a lot of us have a similar kind of story as, how we discovered tea. Your passion for tea led you to develop your website and company, Teaity. Can you tell, my viewers what Teaity is exactly?
Absolutely. Teaity is, for lack of any better description, Teaity really is a tool to help you discover new teas and new brands, but also to do a little bit of research. What ingredients are in a given tea, how long should you steep it for. We actually have a timer tool built into the website that you can use. Plays a little jingle when the timer runs out. And we have spent the better part of the last year primarily focused on getting more teas into our database. We hit 7,500 teas a couple of weeks ago. We have 128 different brands. Most of the big ones are in there, and we're really moving forward, hoping to help more people discover more teas and really explore the adventure that they can have with every cup.
I've used a lot of different apps and timers on my phone, but one of the things I love about Teaity is that I don't have to clutter up my phone with an app. It doesn't take up memory. I really enjoy that I can use it from the web on my phone. Can you tell my readers about that? Are there any certain system requirements?
So we have optimized Teaity for use on the web. As you mentioned, you don't have to have an app. We are working on mobile apps for iOS and Android. I like to say that I'm persnickety. I really want to make sure that we get that experience right, but we're always going to pay attention to the web. So you can access Teaity via the web browser on your phone, Safari or Chrome or Firefox Mobile, and Teaity will adjust itself for your mobile viewing. All the same functionality. You can log in, log out, post comments, rate teas, and run timers, all via the mobile interface that adjusts itself to your screen dimensions.
I know you're working on adding companies and collecting data to make your database bigger. I think you said that you recently passed a milestone as far as how many teas you have.
Yeah, we got to 7,500 teas about 2 weeks ago. Currently, we're at a little over 7,600. The official number I can look up here for you really quick is 7,636 teas. We have a whole host of more teas, several hundred more ready to import, but the data's just a tad incomplete. So we're working with the brands to make sure the information is accurate before we import it.
Part of what I like about Teaity as well is that the data comes from the tea companies. It's not input by users, where you might have other websites where you have a lot of duplicates and errors, where the data that you have is really the actual information about that tea.
Yeah, when we can, we work directly with brands to make sure that the information is exactly how they portray it in, their tea shop that you might visit on the corner, or that's how they actually prepare that cup. What we like to do when we work with the brands is to stress that we want every cup to be genuine, and what we mean by that is that, if a brand has on their website that you should steep a tea between 4 and 5 minutes, well, that's a general range. But the brand itself, if it's a corner shop, maybe a Tiavana, maybe a tea for me, please, corner tea shop somewhere, that you have your own recommendation as a brand. Maybe you steep it for 4 minutes and 15 seconds, right? And that exact time is exactly how you want it. We work with brands to make sure that we get that kind of accuracy so that you can reproduce the cup that you have in that tea shop and reproduce that experience exactly how you had it.
Are there any new features that you might be working on, or that you see in the future?
We're working on some pretty cool stuff. One that we've been hard at work on, we're still sort of in the design phase for, is what I call tasting lists. And it's a group of between 3 and 5 teas that someone might recommend steeping in succession in order to help cultivate your palate a little better. So you, for instance, could create a tea for me, please, Darjeeling tasting list where you say, okay, I recommend this Darjeeling, which is a Pusing Bing, perhaps from Rishi tea, and then this other one, which is uh, a Mackay Bari, probably, let's say, from Harney and Sons, for example, and a couple other different Darjeelings that you recommend steeping in succession, that your viewers and your blog readership would actually be able to become better and more nuanced tea drinkers from that experience.
That's really exciting. I would love to be able to do that for my readers, and help people to, develop their palate for tea. Um, and so, what kind of responses have you had from users for Teaity?
Every response that we've had has been overwhelmingly positive. As an entrepreneur, that's a little interesting because we actually want to hear the critical viewpoints. It always hurts for somebody to tell you that they don't like what you've made, and I think there's one guy here local to us that says he just doesn't get it, right? But he's not a tea person. That's okay. But we like those kind of viewpoints. We like those outside viewpoints that say, hey, I like how you did this, but I kind of think using it this way might make more sense. And with that kind of feedback, we can really adjust features to help make sure that they are the way that our users are really going to take advantage of them. We do quite a bit of research ahead of implementing different features. Like I said, I'm a bit persnickety, and I like to get things right out the gate. So hopefully we'll continue doing that, and our users will continue being happy.
You've been doing a series of giveaways on your Facebook page, right?
That's correct. We've had a T-Quest contest going on where we've been promoting Teaity by way of searching for hidden gems of information. It could be, how many green teas are there, or how many Japanese green teas are there in our database, or it could be, how long do you steep this specific tea for, which we happen to have in our database. We've had 7 or 8 winners so far. They've all been really fantastic sports, and they'll all be getting their prizes here shortly.
Are there any final thoughts that anybody might want to hear about Teaity?
Well, I think we have a pretty bright future. There are a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of features. As an idea guy, a self-professed idea guy, I have a big list of things that I'd like to accomplish in Teaity. But as that same persnickety person, I like to get them right. So as we go about expanding into mobile, we're going to make sure that our iOS and our Android apps are capable of doing everything that you can do on the website. Um, and we're also undergoing a redesign effort right now, which should make the website much simpler to use and to discover new teas and new brands that you might want to try product from.
Okay, great. Well, I really think that Teaity has a lot of promise, and I think you're right. You're going to do great things. But so thank you for taking the time to tell me about Teaity, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks a lot.